on to our main story for the evening. Multiversus, guys. Multiversus has been making headlines all up and down the internet this week as they plan to close the game out of open beta in June as they prep for a full launch in early 2024. With many people worried, the FAQs of the site have indicated that all the items in progress will carry over when the game relaunches, but they're taking the lessons they learned from this period and hopefully put it into the next on full launch next year. So thoughts on this?
I mean, you already know. Very big fan of Multiverses. Have been for a while. I thought when it first dropped, I was like, man, this game right here, it might be the Smash Bros. Killer. Like, I genuinely believe that. But as we see, Smash Bros. Very live, Multiverses very much going offline. There's a lot that could be said about the launch about multiverses. I was actually watching a YouTube video on this exact topic today. It's funny because we were meant to record yesterday, and I'm happy that we didn't because I was able to watch this video and it get broken down by Fighting Game Jesus Maximilian Dude. And
Shout outs.
like big shout outs. And the way they broke it down was like they said that they have talked to people inside the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there has been instances where a game's popularity being this high has actually negatively affected it. And it's something that you don't really think about often. People were saying, like the game came out, it had a lot of buzz, and like I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people were kind of hating on it for it.
Yeah.
They were and
Out
they
the
had
gate.
right to they had right to be upset or to be like this game isn't fully done. 1000% because it was in beta. And it kind of like was one thing that Multiverses communicated well when it came to like updates on the game and things like that. But one thing that they did not communicate well was the actual state of the game. They didn't really communicate well. If this was open beta, how far into the game development process this was, because like we would assume that they released and the game was essentially ready to go. Like the way they kept the beta open, you would think that this game is essentially going to be done within a couple
Mm-hmm.
months.
Yep.
Um, and the fact that they're closing down and not releasing until 2024 shows how far behind they were in the development process. And it is something that like a lot of people don't really realize is that this game was so far behind in development that like it's impossible for them to continue to make this game, to continue to make this game, and continue the momentum they had when we got like Black Adam and we had like all the people coming out, like we had the Gremlins and all that. Like it was impossible for them to keep
Mm.
doing that on top of trying to create a game that people want to play. Like trying to develop a game and keep it live service, like you can't do both.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that they learned the hard way. The team is not big at all.
Yeah.
This isn't like uh something like
Yeah.
Nintendo.
This
This
ain't
isn't a
this ain't
huge
Call of Duty.
company.
This ain't Call of Duty running this stuff. Right? This is a brand new studio. Brand new
Yeah,
studio.
brand new studio, brand spanking new people. And even though like I see a lot of comparisons to like, well, what if like, well, these people had like a lot of money, people were buying things for it. It's like, yes, but money, like when you really think about the process in general, like in total, if you give me $100 million tomorrow, um, I'm not going to significantly change my life overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like things have to get done before that. So when people make the argument like, well, they had all this money, well, why didn't they like hire more people? The hiring process for any company is takes months at a time. And even if they were able to streamline the hiring process, you still got to bring in new people, teach them all the systems, teach them how to make things for this game. Like it's just going to take a lot of time. Not only that, they're working under Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers was deleting things left and right. Like there was so much going on at that company that like you didn't they probably didn't even know what they could do in certain aspects because they don't even know
If
what's
they would
going on in.
exist.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just not to assume that they could do something like go up against Nintendo, which I thought like and I was ignorant. I thought like, oh, this is gonna cook. Like they just can't do it right now.
Yeah.
My biggest upset about the whole thing. I'm actually really happy that they're going offline to make the game better. I don't think that this is a bad call whatsoever. My biggest upset is the fact that like people did spend money on the game and there is no refund process as of right now that I'm aware of for people to get that money back. Because if you're somebody who played the game, liked it, but you're like, whatever, I'm gonna just keep waiting for like me, I stopped playing it because I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna let the content stack up. I'm gonna let the people keep doing their thing before I like really genuinely start like tapping back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't get that. Mind you, am I upset? Not really. Like $60 right as of right now doesn't hurt me. I'm pretty fine financially. So like, oh no, I don't get my $60 back. But it's also like for the people who it did hurt, or the people who even played this game consistently who are still playing this game, like that sucks for them because there goes their money, you know?
Yeah. Uh it's weird, honestly, because again, it does suck that a game is being taken away to kind of, just reassess and reshape how they're doing things. And again, it kind of ended off on a sour note because they lost a lot of their player base and there was people talking shit on the game like it's gonna die and all stuff like that. And so it's tough to kind of hear that, and people's experiences weren't as I guess consistent across a game coming out the gate swinging that hard and having that much success. Only, I guess, it's only going to try and either has to be continued perfection or it's going to go downhill a little bit, in terms of just player reception, just people staying on and retention on stuff like that, because new things happen, new things come out. But is it weird to me that this is one of the few times where companies actually did what they were supposed to do in a beta situation? Am I the only one wrong with that? Like, am I alone in that thought? Because I feel
No,
like,
I
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like that's you're not wrong at all. And I think I agree with you. I think that it's definitely one of those situations where like I think they did the right thing of pulling it.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just like not many people can think critically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And like I hate sounding like y'all are dumb, but y'all are dumb. Like
So some of
it's
y'all are actually dumb though. I can't even front. Uh,
like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for them to continue. Like you guys are saying, like, oh, no content, no content, no content. They're like, all right, we need time for the content.
mm-hmm.
Let's slow it down. Then you can't be mad at them when they slow it down. Like
Yep.
they
Yep.
did what you wanted, but you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I in any case, in any situation that they were gonna slice it, player first games and Multiversus was gonna get some type of burn or some type of shit from this. If they
yep.
stayed on and they kept pushing, they were most likely going to die as a service, completely die out, and they weren't going to have enough time to fully devote themselves to making changes, being as proactive as they were in the beginning of the cycle, updating things like bringing in ranked and new features. They were going to run out of steam really, really quickly as a developer, as an experience, and they were probably going to die out as a game. Or they could do what they actually did and say, hey, listen, we're at this point where we're gonna pull the game, we're gonna take all the services away and stuff like that. By coming in like June, we're gonna stop, we're gonna reassess. We've taken a lot of lessons from this. We're gonna come back stronger next year. Now, again, people are gonna be pissed because there's that money situation that's involved because people did invest some Gleamium and all that stuff like that into it, which does suck. And at least they're doing the bare minimum of saying, hey, listen, when we come back, you guys will have all your stuff there, which is it's already a plan in place to at least give some continuity to people who's coming back to the game when they re-release, which is good. But they made the right choice. They made the right choice. How many times have you seen a game go into open beta, early access, and never close and never come out? And because they just keep getting money, and they barely update the game. Like, how many years has Star Citizen been in like development, bro? I hate to use them as an example because I actually like Star Citizen, but it's like, how many years have they been in like early access or beta? I've never heard an official version come from that thing yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's and again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if they have an official version at this point, because I've been lost for years. You know what I mean? I've been lost on that front for years. But actually saying, hey, there's open beta period. You know what I'm saying? We know what we saw. We know what we collected. We know the data. We know you know what I'm saying, what worked, what didn't, how we felt as a developing unit, how you guys felt as a fan base towards this things, what you might have wanted to see, what didn't happen, all those lessons, trials and tribulations. They took that and closed down the beta and gave themselves enough grace and time to fully develop what their actual final vision is for the start of their actual game. this is what a beta is meant to be. It's meant to be a strong test. And I feel like, again, for a new studio like that, I think they needed that extended period of time to figure out, okay, how do we manage content? How do we manage updates? How do we manage the community? How do we manage actual internal, improvements? How do we manage our team? There's so much that they had to learn in a quick span of time from their inception to figure things out and make things happen. And again, the success came as it did. Like, they had like 150K, like some of the highest player counts for a fighting game on Steam ever. And you had to work through all of that, and then when the demands from consumers come in, that just again crunches and compiles everything you have to do, makes it that much more pressurized. So they did the right thing. I think last week or 2 weeks ago we likened the situation on Multiversus to Halo Infinite, and if they kept going down this path, they were going to be Halo Infinite multiplayer. Halo Infinite dropped their beta early. They saw all this great fan reception and stuff and kept their stuff out without the backup plan of actually having content, and didn't release. They did release months early for their multiplayer stuff, and they didn't have any content to back it up. And then that stunted their entire development process for every other vertical as time went on. For campaign, for multiplayer, all that stuff, for Forge, all that stuff got stunted because they saw this stuff early, but then okay, cool. The players were like, that's great. What's next? And then they didn't have anything. And as the weeks went on, they tried to hurry up and release stuff, but it only got worse, and then people just lost faith and left. Multiversus avoided that fate. Multiversus avoided that outcome by closing down the beta and reassessing and coming out stronger. And that was the best decision that they possibly ever could have made, because when they come back next year, not only are they come back with the people who, one, invested money in that, two, are people who are just curious to see what Multiversus was up to in the past couple of months, and they're going to come back in a position where they know how much content they need to drop. They're coming with like a damn near 9-month surplus plus more of characters, of mechanics, of game modes, of skins, cosmetics, all that stuff to optimize their experience. This was the right move for them. And if people are bashing them for, again, taking that very first step out and realizing, hey, cool, this is the end of our road for right now, we need to come out and polish and be sharp, because when we actually do step out for the first time in full swing, we want it to be correct. Like, y'all gotta pack it up, bro. Y'all gotta pack it up and at least cut them some slack. I really do think that this will be a solid experience. And what this development team has shown time and time again is that they're going to be responsive to what they need, and they're going to be responsive to what the people need. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they got their ear to the streets. They know what's best for them. I think they know what's best for their experience and the players who are enjoying it. So, again, one of the few times I've seen where it's like, yo, I fully agree with them shutting down the beta, because what the hell do you need this for? You know what I'm saying? At this point, when you've already got everything you need to develop and be better and just workshop it until it's damn near perfect when you come out in 2024. So, like, to people bashing this, like, bro, like, Multiversus is going to be back. They're going to come back. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be back stronger than ever. Watch when they come back in 2024. They're going to have every character you saw from the beta. They're going to have even more. And I bet you money their content drop schedule is going to be so much more consistent, because they had this time in the break to say, hey, we know what we want to drop. We have more time to develop this character and see how this works. Like, they had problems interpreting Gizmo into the player base because his playstyle was different. And so they had to make those tweaks on the fly. Think about how much pressure's laid off of them now to internally test tweaks. They'll have game testers. They can really flesh out a lot of characters and stuff by the time we're seeing it. And also, at this point, as they keep stuff internal, they can add the mystery factor back into their game. Because if they go at launch with all the characters that people caught from that data mine, if they just drop all the characters at launch, or at least have them in the first few months of launch, they can add way more characters on the back end and actually surprise people. Actually have that surprise, that mystery factor back of the huge speculation, what we saw at the beginning of Multiverse, like, oh, what's the roster going to be like? What's it going to be like this, that, and the third? They can get that power back the more they're, away from the market. So all this does is help their case to be solid again when the game redrops in 2024. Smart move, and kudos to that team. They did a good job in the start. Things happen. They won some, they lost some, but they lived to see another day, and that's the point.
Yeah. I really hope that everything goes well over there, because the thing is, like, another thing we have to think about is just, like, you don't know what the higher ups made them do. Like, you don't know, like, maybe they wanted to close down, but they were like, no, we're making so much money, or we have so much buzz around us. Why would we close this down now? Um, and it's a sticky situation. We don't have all the information. All we can say is that them working on the game is the best thing for the game. That is the only thing that we can say for a fact. I think that the game in and of itself was not in the best state before it went away, and I can't wait to see what happens when it comes back. I don't see the game not. I know that the game's popularity may not be at the same peak it was when it first released, but I do
Watch it
think
get closer though. Watch it get closer. I ain't
it
gonna
will
lie.
be better.
It'll be in range.
That's the thing, is that it's really tough because it set a record.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not like, I don't want to hold my breath and be like, we're gonna get 100,000 people back in here, because it set a record and then it kind of died out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are gonna tap back in. I think some people are gonna re-download or replay it. Their marketing push is gonna have to be insane.
Stellar. Yeah.
But I do believe that there is space for them. I believe that there's a lot of space for them in this market, because they don't really have a lot of competition, because at the end of the day, who's going to compete with them? Nintendo? Then Nintendo's really just competing with themselves
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
They're
So
their own space at this stage in the game. And yeah, I agree. Look at how things are outlaid. This year we're getting Street Fighter. This year we're getting like Guilty Gear's already like, come through. So many fighting games, so many big fighting games are coming through now. And Mortal Kombat might come this year as well. Like, you're getting big fighting games here. Tekken 8 probably gonna release like next year. You know what I'm saying? That and Multiversus. If you space yourself out enough, one, you'll have enough of a good clearing in the FGC space. And on top of that, if your marketing is right, if your marketing is actually super solid and you really get involved and get stuck in, if Warner Brothers really gives them support, they can hit in those ranges again. I fully believe that.
yeah, I think that they're going to do pretty. I think they're going to do pretty well. And I think I want them to. I hope for the best. If any company, if any game does well, I hope it's this one. The only thing that I'm concerned about for them is that in the free to play market space, there is no competition until Riot drops their game, and
Yeah,
that
Project
is gonna be the
L.
one. That is gonna be the one that might be like, I wouldn't even worry about Smash, because I don't
Yeah,
think that the
that's gonna be
Smash.
direct competition. Project L gonna be
Yeah,
direct comp. That's direct comp.
because even though they're different fighting games in general, both of them are free to play fighting games, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that the people who are looking for free games are gonna want to grind one more than the other.
They gonna
So
make a choice.
yeah,
That's a very good point, honestly. Yeah, like don't take too long now. Multiverse, don't take too
yeah.
long now.
You got
No dilly dally.
you guys still have a good head start, but understand that there are
Facts.
people waiting in the
The riot
in the
machine,
shadows.
the riot
Yeah,
machines in the like a hippo in the lake, and they just watching you, just like
and
yeah.
look at every Riot game that's been released thus far.
Facts.
When you think of the only game that I think isn't as popular that Riot has released was Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game,
But
but
that's still got an audience.
yeah,
Still got an audience.
it's a card game. I'm not expecting to see it everywhere, but Valorant is all over the
Caught
place.
up.
League of Legends is League of Legends.
Took the lead.
So now they're waiting for an MMO, and they're waiting for a fighting game. So Project L, if it's consistent, if it's got that consistent Riot quality, it might be tough for
Mm-hmm.
Multiverses.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But yeah, Multiversus, you got time. But you don't got too much time. That's all I'm saying. So do what you need to do. We'll see you in 2024.